Hi, I'm Carol Allen with Love is in the Stars, Vedic astrologer and relationship coach. And today I want to talk about, oh my God, the Barbie movie. Oh, the Barbie movie has crossed the $1 billion mark. That's billion with an illion. And that is such a crazy, insane thing for a movie about a doll that a lot of us didn't even like as children. And a lot of us actually hated, and a lot of us have very, conflicting feelings about. And so, just like the doll, the movie has evoked all of that in people too. But I thought as an astrologer, it was a perfect example of a way to share all the ways astrology works. So when you look at something like, oh my gosh, a movie being so successful, the question of why is that comes into play. And so I thought I would share with you all one of the ways we astrologers look at things. Okay. But for this, I'm going to need my reading glasses. So there are a million things to consider. First of all, you look at the chart of a company, and the company in question, of course, is Mattel. Mattel invented Barbie, decided to make a movie about Barbie, created a whole production company, hired Margot Robbie as a producer. She hired Greta Gerwig as the director. So believe it or not, companies have charts. And believe it or not, dolls have charts. So the day the first doll came off, whatever production line it was, that is the day and the birth chart of that day of the doll. And the day a company signs an incorporation document and gets a bank account, that is the birth of the company. And the chart of that moment is the chart of the company. Isn't that amazing? And then, of course, you actually factor in the chart of the founder of the company. So if you want to see, will something be successful, you want to pick an auspicious day to launch a company, but then you also want to have an auspicious chart as the founder, or get a founder with an auspicious chart, right? So there are so many things to consider. And because of that, I actually need more glasses. Okay, so I think like Barbie, we've got to accessorize. Yes, so when it comes to the movie, the days to consider are the day the first premiere of the film was, right? And by the way, I just said something unnecessary, right? There's only one premiere, right? First premiere is sort of like saying first. But anyway, so the premiere date is important. And then the date that the movie actually launches to the world. So it's like the birth date of the launch. So the chart of the premiere sort of basically is the birth of the film, even though, of course, the film was already finished, right? So, and this is what's tricky with astrology is there are so many charts to consider. The charts of the star, the chart of the director, the chart of the producer. In this case, the star and the producer are the same person. All of it comes into play. And so I looked at, no kidding, the chart of Barbie the day she was launched at a toy fair in New York City in 1939. The chart, or sorry, 59. The chart, I'm so excited, forgive me. The chart of the premiere of the movie, the chart of the launch of the movie itself, the chart of Greta Gerwig, which unfortunately we don't know her birth time, the chart of Margot Robbie, and then I decided to call it a day. So, so when we look at all of this, it's no surprise, right? So first of all, let's start with Barbie. Why the heck is this doll who she is? And so the chart of Barbie, what made me laugh, of course, is that, and forgive me, we just can't do this. It's too much. We gotta pick a calmer Barbie glasses. Okay, these are better. The chart of Barbie is no surprise. According to Vedic astrology, Barbie is an Aquarius. And the reason I wasn't surprised by this is Aquarius is the most innovative, advanced, brilliant, multitasking, go for the gusto, workaholic sign. So Barbie, She's an astronaut, she's a pilot, she's a doctor, she's a lawyer, she's a president, she's a Supreme Court judge, she's trans, she's, you know, brunette, blonde, redhead, black, brown, Indian, African. I mean, you name it, Barbie's it. And she's been there, she's done it. And that is how Aquariuses are. They are always juggling 85 balls in the air. And, which cracked me up for the movie, Aquarius is, what's the big, you know, rumor about them in relationships? Aquarius women are accused of being aloof. All they care about is their friends. All they want to do is figure out their purpose in life and fulfill it, right? And so that is essentially what happened in the movie, right? I had to laugh. The Barbie character in the movie is more excited about girls' night than she is about Ken. She's more into her friends than she is Ken. She's extremely independent, which, you know, all the air signs, Aquarius, Gemini, and Libra, they're all very independent. They like their privacy. She doesn't want to live with Ken. She doesn't even want him staying the night. Okay, so that made me laugh. Anyway, so the chart of Barbie, the doll, I thought was captured brilliantly in the film. And of course, for Barbie to be, you know, this sexy, beautiful, feminine goddess, right? This unbelievable, impossible depiction of femininity, right? She has to have something amazing going on with Venus, and she does. The doll, and I'm using the date the doll launched into the world, which was March 9th, 1959. So Barbie isn't just an Aquarius, the doll, March 9th, 1959. She has two of the main things in Aquarius. She's a double Aquarius. She has the sun and the moon in Aquarius. And that makes her mega Aquarius. That makes her more independent, more aloof, more driven, more busy, more oriented towards her friends. Aquarius is the natural sign of friends. But being a goddess of femininity and impossibly beautiful and, you know, very glamorous and into clothes and shoes and makeup and hair, you got to have the planet Venus doing something important. And of course, Barbie does. Barbie has exalted Venus. It's in its most powerful sign. It's in its most highest degree of exaltation, within 1 degree of its highest degree. So she has Venus at 2319 of Pisces, where Venus is exalted, and it's right beside the sun and the moon. It's in the sign right next to the sun and the moon. And that is exactly what you'd expect in the Barbie doll. And of course, it caught lightning in a bottle, and it's made $1 jillion, and 164 Barbie dolls are sold a minute somewhere in the world. And it's pretty much been like that since 1959. And why is that? Well, you know, anytime you want to see mega wealth, you want to have some combination of Jupiter and Mars. Look at a Paul Newman, look at, you know, an Elon Musk, look at any mega wealthy person, company. There's always some combination of Jupiter and Mars. It's totally unfair to us mere mortals that don't have this, but the Barbie doll has this. It has Jupiter and Mars in mutual opposition, boosting one another. And then it has Jupiter smiling on Venus and Mercury. Mercury, the planet of business, and Venus, the planet of beauty. So Barbie couldn't help but be extremely successful. And as a double Aquarius, the sign of being tolerant and inclusive and progressive, it's no wonder, you know, she's had so many different depictions of every race, every color, every religion, everything. So anyway, you got to love Barbie for that. You got to give her that. Okay. But why the movie? Why such a huge success? It's one thing to have, you know, a Barbie doll, but the Barbie premiere, the chart of the premiere, it's literally as though they talked to an astrologer. In fact, I'm guessing somebody set this up with an astrologer. Either Margot's into it, Greta's into it, somebody at, somebody's into astrology. They just have to be. The chart of the premiere was July 9th, 2023 at 5 p.m. in Los Angeles, of course. And oh my gosh, you guys. So the way we look at timing is there's this whole thing under a chart called the Panchanga. And the Panchanga is you divide time into 5 extremely important ways. So there's the lunar day, the lunar half day, the relationship with the sun and the moon that day, the constellation of the moon that day, and then this very complicated thing called the Vara Tithi Nakshatra, which this isn't an astrology class, so I will spare you. But it's very difficult to have all of these fulfilled and have the chart itself be great. So they did extremely well, which helped quite a bit. So the most important thing is the Vara Tithi Nakshatra, the day of the week, the constellation of the day, and the lunar day. And there's a million names for these. Some of them say things like calamity, death bell, annihilation. And when you look at things like the Challenger explosion and horrible plane crashes and terrible car accidents and things, they always have those. It's so creepy, it's so weird. But the chart of the premiere of the Barbie movie has splendid as its Vara Tithi Nakshatra. It has success. It has, all the kinds of things you want to see, including the ruling planet of the lunar day, which is one of the other most important things, is Venus, the planet of women and beauty and shoes and, pink. So no surprise. Now, the thing that's amazing that day and the day of the public launch of the film globally is that Mars and Venus were together in the sign of Leo. They actually still are. Mars and Venus in the sign of Leo. Okay, Venus is the feminine principle. Mars is the masculine. This is why men's rooms have the symbol of Mars on them. Women's rooms have the symbol of Venus on them. And the sign of Leo is royalty. So Mars, the masculine principle in the sign of royalty. Venus, the feminine principle in the sign of royalty. And this is, who are the king and queen of dolls? I mean, really, when you think back to your childhood, who was the queen and who was her king? Barbie and Ken, right? And so they're in Leo. But what's incredible is at 5 p.m., the first premiere, they were in the 10th house. And the 10th house is the house of fulfilling your mission, fulfilling your destiny. It's the house of career. The most powerful place for Mars to be in a chart is in the 10th house. That is the perfect place to put them. The moon, which is the emotional nature of the situation, is in the house of happiness. This movie, no matter how you feel about it, no matter how you feel about Barbie, has brought a lot of people a lot of joy. Girlfriends have gone in groups, people have dressed up. I've honestly never seen anything like it. And then it puts Jupiter in the 6th house. Now, the 6th house happens to be the strongest house of this chart. It's the house of overcoming obstacles. It's the house of crushing the competition. And boy, howdy, has Barbie done that. I mean, it even beat Oppenheimer, which came out the same weekend. Now, what's interesting about Oppenheimer is it also has Mars and Venus together in Leo. And Mars and Venus, Mars is the god of war. Venus is the goddess of love. And in, mythology, Mars and Venus got married. And this creates a love of war, right? And so Oppenheimer is this beautiful, visually incredible, devastatingly tragic telling of the most powerful, significant war machine ever created. And it's kind of amazing, right? That's during the time that Mars and Venus were in Leo. Anyway, Margot Robbie's chart is so beautiful. We do know her birth time. I'll just say something very quick about her, which is her sun in Vedic astrology is in Gemini, and it's in a constellation of Gemini that's quite incredible. It's called Ardra, and it's symbolized by a teardrop. And what Margot is so unbelievable at as an actress, and I will spare you guys these goofy glasses, even though, oh my God, I do have more. I like these the best. What is so unbelievable about her as an actress is not only can she cry on cue, she can cry on whatever word the director wants her to start crying on. And she can actually say to the director, which eye do you prefer? Okay. That is freakish. Okay. I took a million years of acting training. I was in theater. I could also cry, but not on cue. And I couldn't pick which eye, and I couldn't decide which word. So I'm bowing down to Margot Robbie. That is unbelievable. And Ardra, where her sun sign is, it's one of the original Vedic sun signs, or Vedic signs, Vedic constellation, is symbolized by a teardrop. And it's associated with crying. I am not making this up. You cannot make this stuff up. Her chart has the moon in Libra, which is associated with beauty. She has Venus in Taurus, one of the most beautiful planets. One of the most beautiful signs for the planet of beauty to be in, one of the most powerful. This is why she herself is known as a, fashionista and one of the world's great beauties. And it's so interesting. She has something Queen Elizabeth had. She has K2, an eclipse point, in her rising sign. And this makes her disappear into her roles. This makes her, completely become whatever character she's playing, which I have to say she does really beautifully in the film, no matter how you feel about the film. So anyway, and it was so cute. I looked at the chart of Greta Gerwig. What you can also do, no kidding, is you can compare charts of people with products, people with houses, people with towns. Whenever people want to move, I always say, ooh, let's look up the charter of the town and let's see if you're compatible with that location, right? It's so crazy. So I looked at Greta with Barbie, and they're very compatible because she herself loved Barbie. She herself played with dolls until she was in junior high. And it's part of why she wanted to do this, even though she wasn't who you would necessarily guess, right? As such an indie kind of cutting edge, kind of like relationship oriented, interesting, progressive kind of woman. I thought it was a brilliant decision. I personally, if you can't tell, had a really great time at the movie. I didn't get offended by it. I didn't take it as a commentary on men and women. Obviously, we are all so much more than our roles and our genders. And I took it as a film about dolls. And it just reminded me of how much we thought Barbie was great and Ken was lame, and why did we have him? Because when you're a little girl, you don't care about boyfriends yet, right? You just care about being cool and being fun and having all the right cool things to wear, right, ladies? So anyway, that is my very quick, very silly, very but very scientific, astute astrological assessment of the Barbie movie. It is going to continue to crush. It itself has Jupiter and Mars in relationship. It has Jupiter aspecting Mars, and it has Jupiter in a Mars sign. This movie is going to just be a juggernaut for years to come, and a legend in the industry. And I encourage you to see it if you haven't, and I encourage you to see it again if you have. Okay. Thanks for watching. If you want to know more about Vedic astrology and all the ways to use it, you can check out my world at loveisinthestars.com. I have all sorts of newsletters, reports, programs to help relationships, etc. And I do all sorts of much more serious things over there, and a lot of fun things too. So come and hang out with me. And if you want more videos, please subscribe. Thanks. Bye.